Well, this is the update we've all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that might not know, we're getting a Lego Avengers tower, and good googly moogly, it sounds like it is going to be an all-time classic. November 24th is now the release date that has been mentioned on multiple occasions, most recently by Brick Clicker, and Brick Clicker has gone ahead and revealed that there will be at least 22 minifigures included with this set, which means that if you're one of the people that were disappointed by the Sanctum Sanctorum and how lacking it was when it comes to minifigs, it seems like the Avengers Tower is going to be much more similar to what we experienced with the Daily Bugle, giving us a ginormous build. I mean, this thing is almost 1,000 pieces more than the Daily Bugle, and in addition to that, of course, just like the Daily Bugle, 20 plus minifigs. Now, before we get to the minifigs themselves, just a quick little roundup of information for those of you that don't know. November 24th is now the release date, which is awesome because before this, we were just given kind of a vague release date of November or December. Now we have a much more concrete release date available, which is obviously exciting. We know the piece count, which is going to be 5,261 pieces. We know the name of the set, which is Avengers Tower, set number 76269, and we even know the price point, which is the part that's gonna hurt because this thing is $525. So now let's talk minifigs, and this is where things get a little bit dicey and kind of confusing because this is the Avengers Tower that we saw in Avengers Age of Ultron, which I actually quite like. The aesthetic of that building I think is really cool, and I think it could work as a comic book looking Avengers Tower as well. But the part that's confusing is really the minifig selection, because it really seems to kind of be across the entire MCU. I mean, we're getting stuff here that seems to be referencing kind of the first Avengers movie, but then there's stuff that's like happening after Avengers Age of Ultron, so it's definitely kind of a confusing release set. But let's go through the minifigs nevertheless. Keep in mind, all of these, as far as we know right now, are all MCU based, so if you're hoping for comic book designs, unfortunately, this is not the set for you. So let's dive in. First, we have the reuses. So these are the minifigs that have been done before, and these are just going to be re-releases. So if you've got them in your collection, you're probably not going to be all that excited about these ones. But here they are. We have Thor. We're going to be getting 4 Chitauri soldiers, which I think is really cool. But again, kind of makes you think, like, obviously, if this is based on Avengers Age of Ultron, personally, I would have much rather we got some Ultron bots here or Ultron sentries, because it would have actually made a bit more sense. But whatever. I guess they're going with kind of an eclectic selection here. So we have 4 Chitauri soldiers. Then we have a Tony Stark minifig. We have a Captain America minifig. We have a Black Widow. We have a War Machine, Scarlet Witch, Pepper Potts, Nick Fury, and Wong. But fear not, there is some new minifigs included in this set as well, and they are the following: 2 different suits for Iron Man, which I'm curious to know which ones these are going to be, just based on the fact that in the movie he wears the Mark 43 and the Mark 45, but they've already released those multiple times over. So I'm curious to see if we're going to get some of the other suits that they haven't done from the MCU here, or if they're just going to basically take the Mark 43 and the Mark 45 and kind of rebrand it, maybe use the new helmet piece that they've just introduced recently. The next one I'm actually really excited for, and that is a brand new Hulk big fig, because I'm very curious to see what this will be. Is this going to be a completely new figure? Is this going to be just some new print work like on the legs, let's say, or maybe a new expression on the face or something along those lines? So it could be obviously a minuscule tweak, but nevertheless, at least we're getting a brand new Hulk, and we're getting a brand new big fig, which I think is awesome. Next up, we have Vision, which I think is terrific. Then we have Falcon. That is very cool as well. We got Wasp, which again, a character that obviously did not appear in Avengers Age of Ultron, but is appearing in the set. Hence why I said before, it's kind of confusing as to what the focus of the set is, but I guess I don't mind as long as we're getting more minifigs. It's not really necessarily a bad thing. Plus, this will be supposedly a new Wasp fig, so hopefully it'll be a unique design and maybe the best Wasp that we've gotten so far. Next, we have the big bad guy of Avengers Age of Ultron, and that would be Ultron himself, which I'm very excited to see what they do with a brand new Ultron. So I'm curious to see if there will be some new parts and pieces used for this one. Print work. Obviously, I'm hopeful for some really intricate print work, considering that this is a much more premium set. Then we've got a brand new Hawkeye, which I think is really cool, considering that he got shafted in the recent Quinjet release, where most of the other Avengers were included, but he was skipped. So I think it's cool that he's going to get a new minifig here. So that's wonderful for all you Hawkeye fans. Then we have Helen Cho, which is actually the very first time that we're getting this character as a Lego minifigure. She did appear in the Lego games, which is why when I first saw this, I was like, why are they saying that this is a new character? I could have sworn that I've already seen a Helen Cho design in Lego form. And then I remembered that it was in-game, not an actual minifig. So for the first time, this is a brand new character that we've never seen before. Obviously played a pretty prominent role, I would say, at least from the non, I guess, superhero type characters in Avengers Age of Ultron. Then you have, last but certainly not least, the Ant-Man micro figure, which, again, I don't know who on the Lego team hates Ant-Man, but for some reason, this is the one character that they just seem to always go out of their way to be like, make sure that he is not cool, you know? Like, I don't know. I guess maybe some people out there really desperately want another micro figure, but for me, I definitely would have much rather just get a regular sized Ant-Man minifig. Now, of course, if you've kept track of the minifigs so far, you would know that that was 22 minifigs. But BrickClicker did mention specifically that there is going to be at least 22 minifigs included, which means that there's a very good chance that there are other characters. Like, for example, obviously the one that is kind of a no-brainer here would be Quicksilver. How could you do a set based on Avengers Age of Ultron and not include Quicksilver? I feel like that's sort of a no-brainer here, but nevertheless, that character is omitted. And for me personally, I would also really love to see a new Ulysses Claw minifig included in here as well, because once again, it's a character that appeared in Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, as far as official pictures or any details like that, we're probably gonna have to wait closer to like October, because usually Lego pretty much announces official sets and images and videos about a month out before release. So since this set will be releasing on November 24th, right in time for the holidays, and we will probably expect images either early November or maybe like late October for this set, which I'm very excited to see just because of the fact that this thing has 5,000 plus pieces. I think this will be a very beautiful build by itself. And I think if you're an MCU fan, if you've not collected MCU minifigs, I think you're going to be absolutely stoked with this, because you pretty much get to almost build an entire MCU display with one purchase. For people like myself, obviously, that have some of these minifigs, it's probably not going to be quite as exciting of a purchase, but I'm still super duper stoked to be able to add to the two previous modular buildings that we've received on the Sanctum and the Daily Bugle. Obviously, I would have rathered if this was a comic book based design, because I think it would have just had a better selection of characters that they could have gone with. But nevertheless, I cannot wait to see what this turns out to be. And of course, you can always let me know what you think. But in addition to that, of course, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Thank you so very much for checking out today's video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.